welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what do I think's going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on the show because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that from time to time. If you're new to this channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. It's been one of those weeks once again, much like last week where it wasn't quite purple robe worthy and it wasn't quite purple blanket worthy, but it was somewhere in between. I gotta admit, it felt a little sleepy a couple of the days, but nonetheless, I digress. There was definitely some funny moments, but we're gonna see what we can get through. Okay, so my usual disclaimer, if you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up on your own, this might not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. Last week, I was battling a cold. This week, I'm going to say I'm like 85 to 90% better. So don't mind me if I happen to sniffle or a little bit of a cough here or there, but overall, I'm doing much, much better. This week has definitely had some ups and downs for me, but you know what? I still muddled through. Okay, and lastly, if you like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind of you if you hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. And again, share, share, share. Why? Because sharing is caring. At least I like to think so. So let's see. We're going to kind of go through some of the characters, of course, see where it has taken us, and, see where we're at. All right. Who should we talk about first? Let's talk about Slaminate, who, I'm developing the slightest, ever so slightest, you know, feeling sorry for him. Yes, I said that. Imagine I said that about Slaminate. Because I think that he is really being like shoved under the bus, if you will, like by like everybody around him. But does he deserve it? Maybe. But, I kind of don't think, and I've said this before, I don't think he really meant Victor any ill harm. But it was brought up left, right, and center for the first few days of the week. Okay, so Slimy Nate, we're talking about him with Tucker and Audra and whatnot. Okay, so Slimy Nate basically is just trying to get his foot in pretty much any door because he got fired from Newman, as you know, because Victor, I have it on my phone, the message for the loony bin. Like, you were trying to have me committed. Victor, once again, I think your little spidey senses were a little bit off because I really don't think that he had ill intention. I don't. And you got to call a spade a spade. If I felt that way, I would have said so. But I really don't think he had any ill intention where Victor was concerned. But again, everybody thinks otherwise. So Slimy Nate is trying to get back into Hamilton. Was it Hamilton Winters? Yes. And so he's already spoken with Lily and Devon. And, the two of them are acting like some serious bigwigs. But Lily, she had developed a bit of a soft spot for Nathaniel. Okay, so back to Tucker with Nate and Audra. So Tucker basically spills the beans. This is at the club that him and Audra have some kind of plan in the works. And he knows that Nate wants to kind of potentially get in. And he's like, you know, I like you. And Nate's like, wait, hold up, wait a minute. Like, you have something to do with this? I was unaware. So he's like, really now? Well, after Tucker ends up, kind of yanking his chain a little bit, he toddles off. And with a quickness, Nate's like, bam, 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 bam. Audra, basically, we need to talk. Well, he goes up to Audra's hotel room, and who's like lying on the bed like, doo doo doo. Well, it's Tucker. So Tucker already had made his way up there, and Nathaniel followed suit. Didn't realize this, but then he's like, oh my goodness, like, you didn't tell me that he had anything to do with this. Tucker was like, I thought, you know what? I have high hopes for this guy. He toddles off out of the hotel room. And basically, Audra and Nathaniel have words about how come you didn't tell me that Tucker had anything to do with whatever plans you had. And wait, so you're trying to take down Hamilton Winters? She's like, no, no, no. Tucker wouldn't do that to his son. He has too much respect for his son, blah, blah. He's like, oh, wait. So it's not Hamilton Winters, but it's Jabot. So he wants to desecrate Jabot. And she's like, well, like, you have to know that this is who Tucker is, and basically, like, get with the program, so to speak. Like, you would do it too, kind of thing. And Nathaniel's like, wait a minute, like, I would never do this. Like, okay, I had my faux pas in the past, but I wouldn't do this. Like, first of all, I'm not selling out my cousins for nothing. And like, I'm not getting my hands dirty in this nonsense. Okay. So she's like, well, what other, prospects do you have then, Nate? And then just then his phone I think it pinged or something like that. And he's like, oh, I might just have something here. Doo, 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 doo. Well, it turns out that it's, Devon and Lily that wants to meet up with him. Okay. So we'll leave that for a second. So Devon and Lily now, they are at the coffee house on the patio, and they were discussing bringing Nate back on, and they were very apprehensive because Devon had gone to Victor and asked Victor, I want to talk about your past employee. Which one? Oh, which one? Like, was there like a serious roster of people? Okay. Yes, it's Nate. So Victor's like, don't trust that guy. And I like, no, I wouldn't have this. So Devon went over to Victor like he was like a full-fledged reference. And I'm like, who does this? Like, you have to know your cousin, and already know what occurred. Why did you go to Victor to even, like, I didn't get it. Okay, so he went over to Victor like he was like some reference, like as if Victor was going to give some glaring recommendation for him to usher Nate back into Hamilton Winters. Weirdness. Okay. So, back to Lily and Devon. They're on the patio having their little back and forth words. They basically are like, I don't know if we can really take this on. Devon's like, yeah, Victor pretty much didn't give him a glaring recommendation. No kidding. And yeah, we don't really need this in the company. Well, just then, Esther, she had her like couple few lines. Side note, can we give Esther like a proper storyline? You know, back when she was with Tiny and then she had Chloe, like that was a storyline. Give her something else to do rather than like baking cookies, which is what she did. I baked some cookies and I brought them for you. Okay, so now you're baking cookies at the coffee house now? Well, are you still working at Hamilton Winter? When do you have time to be baking cookies? Don't they have a supplier for I don't know. These big cookies. So she brings them a plate and she's like, it's so nice to have you two of you back together, as a family working side by side. It just kind of warms my heart. And I know Mrs. C would have been so happy about that and blah, blah, blah. And what would even make it even nicer is that if Nate was to come back, oh, it would just be great. Like all three of you, the family all together. And then she's like, oh, okay, well, I could take a hint. Yeah, I'll leave. So she toddles off. And so now, I guess Lily and Devon had a slight change of heart over cookies. Yeah, so, story short, they have now come to the conclusion that, they're going to basically give Nate, a chance again on conditions and what have you. Jill had signed off on it. Nate had come and met them, found out this information. He was apprehensive. He thought he was getting shut down, but you know what? They kind of welcomed him back, not necessarily with open arms, but Lily was ideally the driving force. And they're like, we can't make a decision because of Esther and her cookies and Aunt Mamie. But whatever. And when did Jill sign off on this? Oh my Lanta. Because segue, Jill was trying to get Billy, which I negated to mention last week, but she was trying to get Billy to come to work with Hamilton Winters because she needed like another ally or something. Like because I guess she felt all alone. Because Lily and Devon are family, and it's like, who does she have? She's all by herself. That's Jill. So she was basically trying to get Billy to come in on the fold. So now she is now on this warpath where Tucker is concerned that she said that she wanted to hit him with a stick. And she's like, I don't mean this figuratively. I literally want to hit him with a stick. Oh, this is too much. So Billy, he thought, okay, I might take my mom up on this offer, but he ends up telling Jack that no, he's going to stick it through to the bitter end in order to ideally take Tucker down. Good luck with that. Okay, side note. Ashley, could you look any more desperate where Tucker is concerned? You claim you want nothing to do with it. Again, last week we finally figured out what was going on in Paris, that she was fearful for her life. Whatever. And now you're trying to, I guess, pull the wool out from underneath him. It was such a back and forth to the point where even Mamie was involved, and she's like, I am very protective of my family, Tucker. And if you mess with my family, well, I would be worried if I were you. And I mean, maybe he's just coming in like the Don Juan. Like I keep telling you, she's like, yeah. And she just comes in and just appears. And she just like attitude. I'm Miss M. So much so that her and Jill, well, anyway, Jill wants to kind of let bygones be bygones for now, for the two of them to work together in order to help take Tucker down. I don't know how well that's going to work, but we shall see. So it's been a whole thing regarding Tucker and trying to take him down. And, you know, again, this is what I'm saying. It was like back and forth, back and forth. Okay, did we have any scene fillers? Yes, in my opinion, we did. Scene filler, insert Cricket and Danny. And the secret sauce. Okay, so last week we saw where Cricket and Danny had their little by the banister at the club. And in had walked Summer and Phyllis to see this go down. Okay, so now this week, Danny is going to make his secret sauce. And he asked Daniel if he could borrow his kitchen. Anyway, through that whole set of craziness, because it was just crazy, he comes in with a bag of groceries, and Daniel is under the impression that, it's, I guess, snacks or whatever, and that they're gonna like watch a game and crack a brewski or, crack a cold one or whatever he said. And Danny's like, when have we ever like sat down and cracked a cold one? Well, I don't know, Dad. I just was looking for something for like a father and son to do, like whatever. Well, through all that nonsense, Daniel finds out that Danny is going to be making some special Romalati sauce, if you will, that apparently is better than Gina's for Cricket. I guess they were having a date. I don't even like talking about Danny and Cricket. They bore me. Although, side note, before Cricket ended up at Daniel's place, because again, to me that whole portion was a complete scene filler. Didn't need to be there. Totally uninterested. Whatever. Like, Cricket was at Society and Phyllis was there. And Phyllis basically was like, oh, so looks like you and Danny are getting closer. She's like, wait, I'm sorry. When did anything that I do become your business? And she was like, yeah, word on the street is that you're stepping down as like DA, whatever. She's like, if the rumor mill is true. And I'm like, oh boy. The only good thing about that scene was that, again, I actually didn't mind how Cricket looked. You'll probably never hear me say this again, but she didn't look too shabby. She looked pretty good. So, again, there's this whole big thing between the two of them, and you can see that it's the start of the trifecta of a romance, Phyllis trying to get Danny, Danny trying to get Cricket, Cricket trying to get Danny, Cricket doing whatever towards Phyllis, and then Phyllis doing whatever towards Cricket, and that's going to be a whole big triangle set of nonsense. Like, this already. It will probably be fun to watch because Phyllis is involved, but otherwise, no. Don't need it. Not interested. Big on with that. We're going to save like the best for last, which has to do with the whole Claire and the whole rest of the Newman clan. But we're going to talk about the one forgotten Newman that was not on all of last week and suddenly has. He looked good. He had like 10 o'clock shadow, like Adam Newman. He looked good. Okay, so Adam and Sally, who we can't be friends any longer, Sally. I said this the other day. Like, we were up here, no more. Because you're almost like slippery. Like, you don't know what you want. You want the whole kit and caboodle, but your execution is very off. Okay, so they bump into one another at uh, Crimson Lights. And, well, anyway, actually, Sally bumped into Nick because Nick was there. And Nick was like, oh, because where she bumped him, hence the gash. And Adam was like, something wrong? Are you hurt? For whatever reason, his cat-like scratches weren't there anymore, but okay. So Nick had left, back to Adam and Sally. They are sitting at a table, discuss. Was it a relationship? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But he's been thinking about her. She's been thinking about him, and she's like, well, we can't really go back to the way things were per se because I don't know. Did she use the word toxic? But yet she wants him, and he's like, I can't stop thinking about you, and our kiss at the base of the stairs. Man, everything happens at the base of those stairs at the club, don't it? Whew. Anyway, again, that didn't last much. It bored me. Believe me, it bored me. Probably because I was so annoyed at Sally. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to get hurt again. Now, Adam, I like you. And yes, you get the short end of the stick a lot, but you're not consistent with this whole love thing. Like, it, you'll see. You'll see. It's not going to work. Cast them aside, moving right along. So we're going to talk about the Newman clan because I think we've pretty much, have we discussed everybody else? Side note, we didn't see Kyle or Summer this week, and I'll be honest, I didn't miss them one bit. I didn't go like, where's Kyle? Like, bye. Oh, I almost forgot. And I don't know where they're going with this, but after Lily and Devon had rehired Nate, she gets like a phone call, I believe, and it turns out that there's some wildfire going on at Maddie's school, and she's like hightailing it off to go and be with Maddie. Wildfire. That's all I have to say. I don't know. I understand as a mom, but like, she grown. She like, wouldn't you at least? Why would you put yourself in harm's way as well? I don't know. It's not like she's a little girl, and I think that Maddie is savvy enough to figure out what can you do, Lily? Being there, putting yourself in danger, along with Maddie, I just don't see the sense. You can worry from afar, let her keep you posted, but really, there's not much you can do. And I don't know. That's just how I see it. You can chime in. Maybe you would do things differently. Maybe as a mom, it would kick in. You would want to go to, but I just don't see how it's going to help the situation. Again, that's just me. Okay, so where are we going with the Newmans? Yes, so Claire gets a visit from Cole and Victoria, and at the jail cell, if you will. And basically, story short, they want to, verify if indeed she is their long lost baby girl that they thought died. They want a DNA test. And she's like, okay, no problem. But are you going to, like, basically believe me? And, that I'm your daughter and what have you. They're like, look, we want to know. You deserve to know. We deserve to know. And, we just we just want the truth. Like what happened? Why you grew up this way? So Claire goes through this whole big thing about how how she was raised, how she was brought up, and by her aunt, and basically the aunt taught her to hate. I keep telling people this thing. The only way kids know is when they're taught this, but it's true to life. So, this is what they discover. Okay, so they said, we will help you, but again, you have to do this for us. She's like, I need a lawyer, what have you. We later find that Cole and Victoria are back home in Genoa City. They commission Michael to come and see them, meet with them. They tell him the story and basically say, Michael, we need you to kind of get her off. Yeah. And Michael's like, what are you thinking? No, no, no. And furthermore, I'm the only one that probably could get her off. Okay, whatever. So Victoria is feeling a little something for Claire, that she's, I guess, a wounded soul and she needs assistance. She ends up telling Victor and Nikki about this. They're like, she's a monster. Are you crazy? Even if she is your daughter, this doesn't change anything. Look at what she did to you. Look at what she did to us. Like, I will never, ever look at her any other way other than a monster. So, okay, Nikki, you're never going to look at her as though she is your granddaughter. Okay, get it. All right. So that was a whole thing there. We saw Nikki, slipping drinks, like with the clearly marked vodka bottle. She was slipping drinks, putting the bottle to her head. She ends up taking a shot glass. She, puts this in her purse. She ends up at an AA meeting. Okay, so here's where I put on a little performance for you. Okay, let me just get prepared. Because it was quite funny. At least I like to think so. Okay, so I have to change. I have to change my attire here. And you'll see where I'm going with this. So, I am Jordan, and I have already given phone calls to Nikki with the sound of ba ba da 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 ba da 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 da. So she's doing the most, and Nikki's like, where do I know that song? I even knew that song as soon as I heard it. The Bayou. Hello, where you used to doot 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 doot. Okay, so I wear this because Jordan goes into her little shady motel room, and she's like, as if it was. This thing was so dramatic. And I'm like, okay, was that necessary? Side note, does Jordan have, did she steal like Nikki and Victor's wedding album? Because how does she have every photo that I know I've seen over the years? How does she have every photo in a photo album? It's just, you're trying to tell me she collected, like she collected all this? No. Did she? Oh, it was too much. And then she takes out her like little 4x6 photo of Eve and puts it by the bedhead, and this is all for you, sis. I'm like, you guys didn't even have a good relationship and you're blaming them for this? Oh boy. I tell you, between Nikki being like go 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 with the vodka and popping a breath mint as if that's going to, and again, here's my next side note. When did you ever see Victor going into the kitchen about, is there something I can get you? I was hoping that she said, I'd like a sandwich, please, with a little Grey Poupon, lightly toasted on the bread, like, imported cheese. Yes, some tea, please. When have you ever seen Victor going into the kitchen about he's making tea? Oh, my baby, my baby. Nobody's gonna hurt you, my baby. Why are you fisting in front of her? Nobody's gonna hurt you, baby. Just a royal mess. So, again, my whole thing was the whole Jordan, off with the hat and off with the sunglasses. Like, everybody thinks that this is like some sort of disguise, but hey, whatever works in soap opera land. So that was pretty much the week. I'm sure I left a couple of things out here and there, but as you know, where I'm concerned, it's totally off the cuff. And if I forget something, again, I plumb forgot, or it really wasn't newsworthy, so I just didn't even bother mentioning it. But if you stuck around to the end of this video, I am so grateful. You know, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. And once again, if you like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell notification and share, 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 because sharing is caring. At least I like to think so. So it's been a blast as usual, and we're going to see what's going to happen this coming week. Hopefully it's not as in between sleepy and great. Hopefully we get more on the great side. Okay, so you guys take care, and I will see you on the next video.